I'm Joshua Kitts, the director of the Composed Dream Game RPG Marketplace, and today I want to talk about Wild, or Wake-initiated lucid dreaming, and their companion tarot deck that powers the game. Wild is a dream share RPG that can be played as a solo journaling game, or by a small group of friends, with one taking on the role of the DreamMaster. In Wild, you might explore the dreams of a coma patient, search for the secrets in the mind of a criminal or a troubled youth, or lose yourself in the depths of the collective unconscious. Wild was created by a UK-based company, We Evolve. This was designed by David F. Chapman. They also produced Action Potential and the Gaslight Club, just over my shoulder up here. In the setting of Wild, there has been a breakthrough in dreamshare technology. Palace, portable accelerated lucidity induction system, allows the sharing of curated dream experiences, as well as allowing individuals to delve into the dreams of any primary dreamer. Wild does use this custom deck of tarot cards to inspire scenes, obstacles, and challenges. So if you're doing solo play, you can use these to generate the scenes, essentially. So what's helping you, what's opposing you, so obstacles, aid, what might help you, and how you resolve that situation and move on. The tarot cards are also used to resolve actions and to create two important parts of your character. This is your persona, the mostly positive parts of your nature, and your shadow, the most negative parts. So each of those would be represented by a single card. If those do come out in play when you're resolving actions, there are special game effects for those coming up. Beyond that, these primarily inform role-playing and the rest of your character build. So there are 4 attributes. Rated, and you rate those as a starting character from 1 to 6. You have 12 points to spend across those 4 attributes. So these correspond to the suits. So we have control, which is kind of your physical precision, strength, your physical power and endurance, focus, mental precision, and passion, your mental power and endurance. There's also 5 abilities, and you rate those 4, 3, 2, 2, and 1. Those correspond to court cards. So there's Guardian, Diplomat, Rogue, Visionary, and Scholar. Visionary are used by or represented by aces in a normal deck of cards. You also create 3 aspects, so these you create and name yourself, and they are often best if they can be sort of both positive and negative, but you can have only positive and only negative aspects as well. Something like cautious could be a hindrance in some circumstances and a boon in others. If an aspect applies, you either add 1 more card to your standard 3-card draw, or reduce your standard 3-card draw when you're resolving actions. So whenever you're resolving an action, you pick 1 attribute and 1 ability. If you are sneaking up and attacking somebody with a large object, you probably go Strength and Rogue, right? So you add those two together, and any of the cards, normally 3, that come up that are below that value, so say you added them up and you were at 6, 6 and below generates a success. If it matches the suit, so you would pick Strength, if you pull a Strength, that also generates a success. Or if you pulled Rogue, so Rogue, there's 1 Rogue in each of the 4 suits, that would also generate a success. If a major arcana comes up, major arcanas do not generate successes. Instead, they signify that something special has occurred. So some extra special dreamlike effect has transpired, and you will then look at all of the cards that you've pulled up, and try to come up with what that special effect has. You'll look at all the meanings, the text on it, and even kind of what that imagery looks like. You might even break open the book and flip towards the back half and look at what the meanings are, what some additional meanings for those cards are, so that you can determine what kind of interesting dreamlike thing might have happened. So one of the examples in the book is somebody is in a physical altercation and they kick a guard and they generate a few successes, but they also pull a major arcana. So the guard gets kicked through a glass door, and then the glass door reforms after they're kicked through and the guard's trapped on the other side, which is very interesting. Interesting kind of dreamlike thing occurring. And again, you can use the standard or reverse text on the card. So if it's reversed, it will have the opposite meaning. So the orientation of the card does matter, or can matter. It's up to you to interpret them. So I did recently run a one-on-one game, and the cards do a wonderful job inspiring of this kind of dreamlike quality that you're looking for. And simply looking at the cards is very helpful, and the book, as I said, does list suggestions, particularly helpful for those obstacle aid resolution for crafting new scenes and locations. Tarot deck. So the game book is hardcover, clocks in at 100 pages, black and white interior. I've gone to the very back page here. This is a way to randomly generate cards, should you wish or need to, instead of using the deck of cards itself. So if you do just pick up this book and you want to give it a test, there's the solo play option. Maybe you want to try that out first before picking that up, or maybe you have another tarot deck of cards and you want to use that. The latter half of this is all about how to use the cards. So how you can interpret them, suggestions, particularly for solo play, but also for your GM prep stage, or if you wanted to do it as a kind of pickup game where you were setting scenes on the fly, you could do that. And there's advice for drawing 4 cards, one for each: the situation, obstacle, aid, and resolution. So you'd kind of mix, you'd grab 4 cards and you pick which one you wanted to use for each of these, or that you felt was most appropriate for the situation. But let's head back to the front. I think this helps explain the square layout actually quite a bit, because it works very well for the cards and the text. The interior is all black and white. This is version 1.2, which means I guess it's gone through a couple, at least minor revisions. We have a quick overview of the universe, so it's a bit of a sci-fi thing in terms of a device has been invented which lets you enter the dreams of others and create kind of like structured, pre-scripted dreams as well. And hey, look, we have our 5 chapters, and then the appendix for all the cards that we had a quick look at already. So we've got the introduction, we've got the rules, so how you resolve the actions with the cards, how you build your characters, the training mission, which is entering the dreams of a coma patient, and this was actually what the DreamShare device was originally created for her. The inventor's daughter, Clarity Henderson, was in a coma, and the inventor came up with a way to enter this dream. So there's essentially a recording of that dream in a way that you can enter as a training mission to learn how to make use of the DreamShare devices. Whether you can be a good, I'm going to butcher the pronouncing, Onironaut, and whether they're going to give you future assignments for cards. So, let's have a look. So as I sort of mentioned, there are ways you could play without the deck, but the deck is great and has a nice randomization effect, which, if something's already come up, then you're not going to see it again necessarily. When I ran it, we certainly kept the deck unmixed for a whole scene, which I think worked well. So we'll give this a quick mix. So you'll see the suit symbols are on the back, and the book itself has kind of that iconography throughout. The cards have a kind of, and yes, I'm leaving that upside on purpose because there's sadness on the bottom and ruler on the other, and depending on how it comes up, that's the one that's like key if you wanted to cue off of something. So you'll see the color for the suits are different, but otherwise they're black and white. And this here is a major arcana. It's black. It just has the number it is. Major arcana don't generate successes. They just mean something extra dreamlike has happened. So if this was just a draw, which is pretty common, you draw 3 cards. And I actually probably should have flipped the deck, because if it comes up first this way, you're supposed to do that in classic tarot. Draws, and we see everything has been upside down. Anyway, so major arcana would mean you look at this and go, okay, something extra dreamlike has happened in this scenario, in this action, and you can take the cues off of any of these, the meanings of any of these, to have that happen. So the cards, that's a nice green there. Have this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, there, maybe? They're not high gloss, but there's a kind of pearlescent shimmer to them in the finish, which actually makes the black and white really pop to me. So I think that was a good choice. I also really like the choice of black and white, because I think it kind of has a more dreamlike sort of, I don't know, aspect to it. Or surrealism to it, and a lot of the art guys have this kind of surreal, dreamlike sort of quality to it, which is really cool. The final chapter covers various dream scenarios and how you might look at things like that. So like things like facets and archetypes and people's constructs of other people in their mind, and facets of their own personality that you might meet, interesting things like that. Dreamer is an important concept if it's not like a constructed dream, and that ties into scope and stability. So scope and kind of is like how wild can the dream be, and if you go beyond how wild the primary dreamer will accept it, it'll affect the dream's stability, and eventually the dreamer will realize they're dreaming and wake up. And that might end what you were trying to achieve, or stop what you were trying to achieve. The cards are very elegant. They have a bit of a surreal quality in that black and white. There's that hint of color for each suit symbol, and the finish of them on the cards aren't gloss or high gloss. Rather, it's kind of a shimmering, somewhat pearlescent, kind of almost glitter if you look at them very closely, which does make that black and white really pop. In my one-on-one playthrough, our hero played a disgraced hedge fund manager who had jacked into the dreams of one of his co-founders, who had ousted them from their company. He delved into this person's dreams, trying to get dirt on his rival so he could get revenge in the real world. At one point, he was almost ejected from the dream when they confronted each other in the boardroom on the day he'd been ousted, because things didn't go as the primary dreamer remembered them going. And then later on, we had a bit of a home invasion going on, and they both awoke after some major arcana got drawn, along with a lot of successes, and our hero became his rival's dog and attacked him. Since in Palace dreams are so real, his rival did go into the hospital in the real world. And we ended our session there. It was a very cool experience. and I played it sort of as a pickup session with nothing prepped ahead of time, which can certainly be done. This is the somewhat the character sheet there that my buddy Eric created for our little playthrough. Which thanks for the game, my friend. Thanks for the game. All right, so hopefully that's piqued your interest in a wild RPG. You can get both the core rulebook and the Wild Tarot deck from the Composed Dream Game RPG Marketplace in either print or PDF digital versions for both. So you can get a digital version of all the cards and possibly load them into your favorite virtual tabletop game or so on. Print versions, of course, always come with a PDF, so you get that if you do get the print version. Thank you, and good gaming.